these are my friends. Come along with me, see how the story ends.
This episode is brought to you by North Spore. Ever wondered what secrets lie beneath the forest floor? What if I told you there's a hidden kingdom waiting to be explored right in your own home? North Spore is your getaway to this magical world. Whether you're a beginner or a seasoned mycologist, North Spore has everything you need to cultivate culinary delights, medicinal powerhouses, and even a little mind-expanding magic. Unlock the power of fungi with their top-notch spawn, easy-to-use kits, and a treasure trove of knowledge. If you're ready to embark on your mushroom journey, visit northspore.com and discover a community of passionate growers, expert resources, and endless possibilities. It's time to tap into the ancient wisdom of fungi and transform your world. Be sure to use code PROFESSIONALHIPPIES for a very special discount to fuel your fungal exploration. North Spore, where wonder grows.
Welcome back to another episode of the Professional Hippies.
Hey, everybody. How you doing? How was your
Hey,
weekend?
everybody. How was your weekend, folks?
You have a good weekend out there?
Just
Feel
as
rejuvenated?
fun as we had. Maybe you're rejuvenated. Maybe you're still recovering. Maybe you didn't enjoy work today. You had
Maybe
a little
today's
bit
your
of a
Monday.
Sunday fun day.
Well, hey, if you're joining us for the first time, thanks for stopping by. We're the Professional Hippies. I'm Colton. This is Dylan. Today's episode, we're really just going to be riffing it. So we got a couple topics we just want to kind of catch up on last week. We got some guests coming up, which is going to be exciting. But yeah, come hang out with us. We're professionals and hippies. So we kind of meet you somewhere in the middle there.
Somewhere in the middle. I don't know which way I lean.
I'd like to
sometimes,
say we're on a spectrum.
definitely a little bit on the spectrum for sure. Always
It's
positive
not on a spectrum. Billy McFarland.
Billy McFarland. Hey, I was in New York this weekend with my wife for a birthday trip, and
You might want to turn your mic up a little bit more too. I think
more.
a little more gain on the back end.
I definitely got to recalibrate this bad boy. No, because now I hear the humming. When I start hearing the humming, there we go. Turn it down. Right there.
Every time I hear Billy McFarland, I think of the guy from Family Guy. What was his name?
That's what McFarlane also, I think.
Right?
Family.
Something McFarland.
Guy, creator. Great, we have this power now.
Yeah.
Seth MacFarlane. Also kind of look alike.
They kind of look alike. I feel like they could be close, distant cousins. I don't know.
We were heading to the Mercer Labs visual event. By the way, awesome. Real fast about Mercer Labs. That's like a whole visual experience. When you go in there, it is awesome. Worth every penny.
What is it?
It's a visual arts experience. Like that you each it's massive rooms. The first room is kind of like your typical projection scenery on the walls and the floor. Mm-hmm. And then you get to the second room and feels like you're in a steam room. The walls are all cushioned, and then they have massive sound systems coming in where it's reverberating bass and sound, and then they make it sound like you're in the jungle at one point. They have like just a tiger sound, like growling in the system. It sounds like it's moving through the room. It's pretty fucking cool. And then they have a whole nother room where it's all glass, but it's lights hanging down from the ceiling that they alternate whatever visual. So it looks like an infinity mirror all around you with the lights going in another room. So it's, and then there's a bunch of other stuff in there I'm not going to get into, but
just like an exhibit kind of deal.
Yeah, but like more of, you kind of see things at like music festivals, and you can see it's created as like a temporary event. Like imagine the same ideas that they try to create, but now it's a permanent installation. So there's a lot more time and money that went into them.
We went to something like that here in Austin, but it was temporary. It wasn't like a permanent installation.
Yeah, this is like and it's right in the heart of the financial district. Like there's a lot of time and money that went into this. It's pretty cool. And as we were walking to it, I started seeing, funny enough, I heard it first, and then I heard his voice, and then I saw him walking my direction, and he had a lady friend on his arm that he was walking, and he was talking, and from the distance, I was like, that guy looks really familiar, and he's getting closer and closer, and then I hear his voice, and Billy McFarland has a pretty, unique sound, I would say, or voice. So, and I hear him getting closer, and then he sees that I see that I recognize him, and he just gave me the look of like, please don't say anything, as he's like still talking.
Don't
He's
do
like,
it.
please don't do it. He just kept walking, and of course, I went over to Christy as he's passed by. I was like, oh hey, that was Billy McFarland that walked by, and she goes, who? And I was like, the Fiery Festival, the guy that gave every rich person a great time. And she was
promised
like,
a great time at least.
That was the guy, and I was like, yeah, he just walked by. That was funny, but just funny, of course, because I know he lives. Because I always watch him record stuff too, like when he's out recording. Oh, hey, Fiery Festival's coming up. We got these tickets or whatever. He's always in the financial district.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, that'd be funny if I ran into him over here. It just so happens as I'm going to this event, walking right by him.
Did you think that before you saw him?
Yeah, like
that's crazy.
We were going to be in the financial district quite a lot, going to ferries, the ferries down there to go to the Ellis Island and Statue of Liberty, and then we were going to some of the taverns and stuff. So multiple days are going to be there. So I was like, oh, that'd be kind of interesting if we ran into him or whatever. And then Saturday, we were there since Wednesday, and then Saturday saw him. So it was just funny.
Isn't it funny when you think of something and then it just kind of serendipitously happens that way?
Yeah, we can't give the manifesting people too much credit. All right, like they're gonna be like, "See, you gotta manifest."
Well, there's a real thing to it. The reticular activation system or something like that. RAS, RAT, something like that. So you buy a blue car, you suddenly see blue cars everywhere. So now your brain's like looking for it. So that's the non-woo part of it. I also genuinely believe there is like a little bit of a woo part of it where
probably
you're thinking of something, the little butterfly effect of energy kind of goes out into the universe and comes back.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's a bit of a weight to that. I'm going to go a little woo here for a second. You think a thought, and let's say that thought has a butterfly effect, right? A butterfly flaps its wings in South Africa, and it influences a hurricane in the Gulf, right? That could be one way of like, okay, all thoughts are created equal. I wonder if when you pray, if like putting real intention behind a thought, like a sound wave, you speak something or you yell something, the only difference is intention and energy behind the thought that leads to the action. I wonder if you pray on something, if it does give that energy and that frequency a little bit more weight.
Oh, that kind of be the same idea, wouldn't it? Like people manifesting, writing it down, journaling, but then praying would be the kind of the same format, is that you're putting it out there.
Yeah. That's a good question for me to ask God whenever we get to the end of this tunnel. Like, hey, how much does this praying thing work? It'd be funny to be like, you didn't even have to pray, actually. You just think about it.
He was like, dude, no, I told everyone sacrifice a lamb. Just get one of the lambs. That's the toll. You pay your toll. I told everyone.
He's like,
I played a joke on Jacob to sacrifice his kid, but that joke went a little too far.
Get it. Yeah. I'd be like,
hey, don't do it. I meant the lamb.
And remember, it's your best 10%, not your last 10%. I think that was another thing they took a little far. He was like, I don't know, 10% sounds 10%? Good.
Because that's the number everyone gives. And they're like, think of a number, 10%, I guess.
God's like, I would have settled for 2, honestly.
Yeah.
He's like, I did this shit in 6 days. It didn't really take me that long.
Honestly, it was a sneeze, and that's the virus that came out.
He's like, you guys called it the Big Bang. I was just excited and lit off a firecracker. So
I was just trying to get rid of a cold. That's what came out. Whoops. Like, what if every black hole is just a cold that God's had?
I wonder how long it is before, now that we're kind of entering the age where I think we will begin to transcend into robots. Like China, apparently, Xi's making this really big push for humanoid robots by like 2025. So he's like, they're dumping a ton of money into it. So it only makes sense with like AI and quantum computers that eventually 10, 20, 30, 40 years down the line, we can have, what is it, general AI, not relative AI. So AI is equivalent to a human brain, the ability to process.
I think I don't know. I'm starting to. I don't know why this. I would think this is relatable, but with all the electric cars that were being pushed on people, and all the companies saying they're going to switch, all the car companies are starting to pull back on saying they were going to move over to full electric, or they were going to do a ton of investing into it. And a
Makes
lot of them
sense.
start.
I mean,
A lot
Tesla
of them
or
started.
Elon was the only one crazy enough to go full hog on that. He was like, I'm willing to lose everything. And you think about how many people decisions go through, even if they, Ford puts a bunch of capital in it, they're still holding back reserves. They're not like, hey, we're going all in on this. Like they're
Well,
going
then a
to,
lot of people, all the batteries started to expire that everyone bought for the Teslas from years ago. And so now they're starting, it's like getting your oil change. You got to get a new battery. And it turns out it's like 25, 30, $40,000
yeah, it's like a
for a
minimum
new
like
battery.
20, 25 grand, right?
Yeah. And then people are seeing the environmental impact on batteries that
Mm-hmm.
they're getting. People are like, I don't know if that's the route to go. It makes sense maybe if Tesla is the only one, they got a monopoly on the electric. And they're like, yeah, we make the best electric. But
They
then
make
for
a ton of
Ford
money from
and
like the
Mercedes,
data and the accessory stuff. I mean,
yeah,
Tesla has its own insurance too. And
yeah.
so, I
But
mean, they have,
for all these other car companies that have just were like, we're going to make these big claims, we're going to do it, and then all of a sudden people stop buying their cars because people are like, no, like I don't, I wanted a gas company, I'm going to go find the people that still
I
make the
think
gas cars.
Volkswagen, or BMW, which apparently I learned recently is BMV, BMD. There's a different way to say it, but it's not BMW. Apparently, it's not the German way to say it. They're switching to hydrogen, so they're relocating their
That's
assets
a good
from
route.
electric to hydrogen.
That's a good route to go. They finally didn't kill the person that figured out engines can run on water. Finally broke
What
free somehow.
happens if a hydrogen tank explodes?
We're gonna find out. that's, that's for sure.
I'm like, batteries are no bueno, but hydrogen sounds. I
It
mean,
just puts itself
none of
out.
it's good.
I don't know what it being made of.
Yeah. But back to the black hole thing. So if we fast forward, we get to the point where robots compute at the same level as a human, not similar, the same.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have the ability to really explore space. Like humans aren't attached to the flesh suits, download consciousness, send a robot out for, I don't know, 10, 40,000 years. It doesn't know the difference, assuming nothing happens in transit. It's essentially a human without the bindings of biology.
But why would you need a human? Why would you need a robot like that when you could just make the machines to do it? Like that's just a machine. Then why you need to make it in like a human form? Just it's just just need to send a machine out to do what you
I'm
need it
not
to do.
attached to the human part of it. I'm just
I feel like
kind of
that's kind of what what's the satellites that we sent out into.
like the Voyager.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
mean it's not, it's kind of collecting data, but it's not really because it's more of a messenger system.
I
But
don't even know if the Voyager's still active anymore.
I think they are. They still
Yeah.
kick back stuff.
Yeah. I know it's on its last leg for sure. It's like way past what we expected it to do.
Well, it's not supposed to be able to ping. Like it just takes forever to ping back, and eventually it just can't anymore.
No, for sure. I know it's on its last leg. Like they have.
But they got that golden record in there that lasts forever.
Now, if anyone, I mean, come on, like the stuff we put on that golden record, that looks like some alien shit. Some aliens
Well,
find that they're gonna be like, "What is
fuck
this?"
is this shit? You know.
There's like a song on it too.
And then like we send out another one. It's got subtronics on it, and they're like, "Oh yeah, there we go, figured
They're
it
like,
out."
"These are our people. They
They
get it."
they figured it out.
But black holes are the one things that trip me out because when it comes to physics, like everything we do works until you get to a black hole. I mean, there's like several exceptions. I suppose there's like 7 or 6 or 8 questions, equations that we're like trying to solve that, if solved, unlock a whole bunch of stuff. But Black holes are just a big exception where we're like, we don't know. Theories, but like nothing comes out. It just goes in, except for maybe gamma radiation. I think shoots north and south.
I like the concept that black holes are new Big Bangs.
Me too.
That happen. Like each one is.
But it's a mind fuck because then you're like, you get into the whole fractal universe and infinite amounts of universes.
Well,
like
it's in my mind, the sun, stars are the most powerful source of energy that we know of to date, I guess, in the universe. So when one of the stars collapse, it's creating a void, creates the black hole, and then it goes, all right, this energy collapsed, but it creates a new universe from what was left behind. That's its waste product is a new universe or dimension or bubble.
And like in the observable universe, how we have like that supermassive black hole at the center with the collection of stars around it. That's what I'm talking about with, I'm going to call them human robot things or whatever, but like it would be pretty sick. Like imagine us being able to crack a couple beers on like an intergalactic space exploration. Mm-hmm. Just a couple of robots just kick it back and you're like, well, let's just pass a couple. What is that? Millennia? Mm-hmm. So like, yeah, let's go for a cruise.
And the other thing with black holes is with the Big Bang, what we know of, it was all when the Big Bang happened. It wasn't like it shot out a bunch of planets and rock. It shot out like gas everywhere, and eventually the gas formed. So when everything gets passed through the black hole, we don't exactly know as it goes to the other side, but we would assume everything just gets pulverized and just stretched and into nothingness. Probably.
Well, that much we do know. As things approach the event horizon, I think it gets closer and closer to the speed of light. That's why nothing comes out. And the closer something gets to the speed of light, E equals mc squared, the larger it gets. And so that's also the mind fuck, is that once it gets to the event horizon, nothing gets back out, but it gets exponentially large because it's approaching the speed of light.
It just turns into gas, and then it shoots into the other universe. New gas.
I say gas or just matter, just energy. I mean, that's what gas is, I guess, but the gas is just really, really excited.
But it's also like next time I fart, I just pass some matter. Don't worry about
it. My biology teacher would be so proud. Like Colton's really fumbling through all that homework. Little brain cells working on that overtime there. Speaking on overclock brain cells, so we went and watched Excision Friday, and
really clock some brain cells.
Tell you what, that I don't know if I prefer seeing him in an arena setting or at a festival, but the production was fucking amazing. But I got to go arena because the screen was so big, and the openers, two guys we hadn't heard of when we showed up halfway through. The second guy, Efix, I think is his name, and then it was Ray Volpe, who actually his name is pronounced Ray Volpe. Ray Volpe. Bring out the lasers, dude. Pew 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 pew. Bring out the lasers. Whatever.
Oh, that guy.
That guy. Yeah. So when he 3 songs in did Bring Out the Lasers, and it was super underwhelming. But when Excision came on, they turned on all the production, and it's like, you could have given him a little extra production for that one song.
Especially since he uses his song a lot, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Like come on, you could have ramped it up a little, at least
for that one song. That one song. Yeah,
that's such a good song.
I get it. And then Atlians, I guess is how you say their name. They came on before Excision. They were super good. That's like a new favorite for me, man. They were awesome.
We saw them in St. Pete.
Did you?
Yeah, I think they were opening for Elderbrook, I think, honestly.
What?
Yeah, it was Elderbrook or Big Gigantic, one of the two.
I think it makes more sense for a Big Gigantic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably big gigantic. They were open. Yeah, based off I remember where I was standing. Big gigantic.
The guys with the red eyes,
sense.
right?
Yeah.
In the alien costume or whatever.
Yeah.
That set was really good. It was probably the same set that you listened to, honestly. 'Cause I listened to their Lost Land set, and it was
well, even
same
Chrissy
set.
was like, "Oh, that was pretty good."
yeah, it was really, really good. And Excision's like, okay, now I'm thinking of it. Definitely, the only way I want to see Excision is in an arena because my back would give out, and I would just sit down. I'm like, this is amazing. Because every time I've seen him before that, I have to go sit down. I got to go lay down. You're like thrashing your body around, and then you're like, all right, man, this isn't Dave Matthews. I got to sit down or something. You know what I mean?
Well, it's normally okay if you're just seeing. And the other reason why it's good if you're just seeing Excision is because you're not going like Excision to then like Hardwell afterwards, or like Excision to another big fest and then to another one. Like, oh, we're just here for the thrashing. Got it. We're not here for multiple thrashings today.
And I went and took a bathroom break, and this is why I brought this up, because you reminded me of this with the Billy sighting. I came out of the bathroom. I went to get some water or candy or something, and I was about 100% confident that I saw Ray Volpe, and so I lock eyes with this dude, and he sees that I see him, and he got really uncomfortable. And so in that moment, I realized it is not Ray Volpe. But I was so sure. So I start to approach him. I see him get really uncomfortable. And then my brain processed a couple thoughts really quick. It's like, why would he be on the opposite side of the arena when I'm sure he has a tour bus, green room, a ton of other things? But the guy was dressed exactly the way he was dressed on stage. So maybe it was him, maybe not. I didn't want to make the dude feel really uncomfortable, but yeah, it was a good show, man. 10 out of 10.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Should have made him uncomfortable. That was a better story.
And then we got up the next day, so we went to Waco. Have you ever been to Waco? You've heard of Waco, though, right?
Well, I've heard of Waco, yeah.
Yeah. I asked a client that today, and she was like, who doesn't know Waco? I'm like, oh, fair enough. So good we went and we got a ball and brunch. It felt like the morning after the festival when we have like our deluxe bacon, eggs, sausage kind of deals. Like, oh, this is what we need at the campground. We need someone like Mike just to make us up like a 5-star.
Please make
biscuits and
food.
Oh, so good. Went to the Dr. Pepper Museum. Apparently soda was founded as a healing elixir.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't know that. I'm sure there's a bunch of other Dr. Pepper facts that I don't remember either. But
what always reminds me of what I sent you earlier, actually, about the mini muffins. That's always a staple for me for breakfast.
Oh yeah,
festivals. Yeah. But I liked how, because everyone's talking about inflation right now, and so how all the companies are starting to shrink their product and everything, and then it was going to like the different products, like, oh, with shrink wrap we put less shrink wrap, or with toilet paper or paper towels we put less in there for the user. We made the paper towel squares smaller, and then each company's going bragging about it, and then it shows the mini muffin company just eating it, and they're like, oh, it's the goat. They're like, the guy's like, yeah. They're like, how'd you do it? And he goes, I just put 4 in there. So you start low, you start with an inflation low amount, and then you never go lower. So all your expectations are already low.
Can you imagine if they took another muffin out? There would be riots in the street.
Riots. And that's why he's like, I already got my expectations low, and so I don't have to go any lower. And then I thought it would be funny. Every now and then a sneaky one gets in.
Mm-hmm.
Into them.
You feel like a king when you get that extra one, and you know. One. I don't know if it's actually 4 or 5, but you know when you get a bonus one for sure.
You're like, that definitely.
Then fingers go searching and it finds, and you're like,
it's in the corner. It was in the corner the whole time.
I know I had a lottery ticket in this box and shit. I'm a lucky man today, son. And I'd push back. Those aren't just breakfast items. That is a good 2:30 in the morning, 7 o'clock in the middle of the pit. you're
Easy
feeling
to eat.
you're feeling down. You're like, why is the Rainbow Road not sparkling no more? Low blood sugar. Who's there? The Muffin Man.
Mini Muffin Man in chocolate, cake, and blueberry.
I'll be frank with you. I did know they had other flavors.
Yeah. Those are
I
the
always
three
go
I know
blueberry.
of. Blueberry always. That's
Always.
the route to go. Yeah.
Yeah. I'd be really disappointed if I branched out and I was like, I fucking knew I should.
See the chocolate ones and then it gets all over your hands. Like some people are like, yeah, it's delicious. I'm like, I'm always at these festivals, I'm always hot and sweaty anyways. I'm like, it just melts. I'm like, I'm not licking my disgusting festival hand.
That is true. It doesn't matter what food I get at the festival. I am not touching them fingers, son.
I won't wash them, but it ain't going near the mouth.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, we'll see what we hear back on the Eclipse dig and figuring out how many days we got to be there.
So what if they're like, oh, you have to get that extra ticket? Like, are we all right? Well, we got to get going in early. I don't think the issue is probably getting there early. I think it would be leaving because they might be like, all right, because they might section off where you're parking based off of your ticket.
I don't know, man. Yeah.
I don't know. We'll be moving people though if we got to get out of there.
If we found out anything about Minnie, she can get down. She can move when she needs to.
Slap that bad boy. Bam.
There's almost an asterisk by that. She'll move when you coerce her to move. Sometimes.
I talked Tyler into trying to get him to go to Burning Man. Tyler and Mira, so hopefully they make.
Oh yeah, and if anybody listening to this, if you're wanting to submit an application for Professional Hippies, that application's going in soon officially for Burning Man.
To have our own camp.
Mm-hmm.
All of you can work for us. That's
yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
And
actually.
make me a delicious non-mini muffin breakfast.
I swear to God, for your breakfast, if you do mini muffins, that's gonna be a mutiny.
I think I'm gonna do the mountain houses this time. A few of them.
Are you talking about for yourself or for the camp?
No, for me.
Okay.
Yeah. I just heat up some water, pour it in there. Ooh.
Actually wouldn't be a bad idea is having an MRE on lock on the bike. You're just out and about. Yeah, you're just out and about and you're like, I need 1,500 calories right now. And you just pour some water in that bad boy, let it heat up. Get some mac and cheese, country fried chicken, Skittles, fake butter. It's not a bad idea.
Where are you going to heat it up at?
They come with the reactionary packs. You pour water in them and you crack them, and then it heats up.
Where are you talking about?
Have you never had the MREs?
Oh, MRE? No, I've never had like an MRE.
Mm-hmm. You just pour a little bit of water in this like packet, and it heats up, so you can cook your food.
They should just have that on a platform full of MREs for people to grab out there on the go. When you
Honest to God, when they called the National Guard out there last year, I don't know why they didn't just start passing out MREs.
They got extra ones laying around.
They last for fucking ever.
They're like, oh yeah, these million of them are about to expire. Let's just go ahead and put them out here.
Yeah. I don't know what the shelf life is on an MRE, but I know for sure if there's one thing we can guarantee with our military is that we overbuy them.
I found an MRE cracker on Little St. George Island. They used to do like military training on this little island up in Florida, and found it in the sand crackers. Tasted awful, but they were vacuum sealed still. It was just in the
so
sand.
Much to unpack there. How do you know it was MRE crackers?
It was came in that brown packet.
Oh, okay.
The typical brown vacuum sealed. That's the only thing I've ever had from MRE. It was just like these crackers I found on the beach. But like you have to get like approval to go to this beach. It's not like everyone can go to this island. So we were the only people on the island when we went. So like it's not like everyone goes there. So somehow it came from when they were doing military trainings. It just got dropped in the sand.
That makes sense. Yeah, I mean, they're really solid. I don't know that it's any better or worse than the Mountain House backpacking meals.
Yeah.
They just all of those type of meals get so much exponentially better the hungrier you are.
Oh yeah,
I
those
tried a
are
mountain house when I was
great.
like I was like, I don't know, it's leftover, whatever. It was fucking gross. I was like, this is not
Yeah,
it, dude.
you don't eat it when you're at home. That's not like, oh, I'm gonna eat
No.
a mountain house. They're like,
No.
no, that's like day 3 of hunger has set
Yeah.
in, and you're like,
But
this is the
dude,
bomb.
you put in a nice 12, 14 miles, you take them hogs out and just roast them on the campfire with the mountain house cooking. Oh, the beef
That's
stroganoff.
what I was saying. It's like out at Burning Man, they might be pretty good. You pour it in there, you just, like you're on day 3, 4 out there, day 2 even, and you haven't that much. You couldn't reach other people's camps that were giving out crusty grilled cheeses. You know?
Well, nice. I mean, but we have like the freezer and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we.
I get too lazy of wanting to like make something, like going through the work to do it.
Well, the thing we figured out last year is how many more foods we can cook in the oven because
Mm-hmm.
the generator went out and morale was down, but the food was up. We're like, this is good. This is really good. Burrito in the oven as opposed to the microwave, much better. Much better. Pizza,
All
naturally,
right.
you're going to put that in the oven. But
Ooh, pizza's
um,
out there.
the breakfast sandwiches, so, like the things that
Yeah.
Abby made, put those in the oven, aluminum foil,
Ooh,
fire.
that sounds awesome.
Mm-hmm. So the key this year is we're bringing redundancies. So probably an extra generator, another tire, I don't know, fucking another windshield. Like I almost want it to look like an RV shell on the RV as we're going there.
There's just an RV being pulled by the RV. Like, that's our backup. It's our backup RV. When this one eventually goes out.
Yeah. Because Abby brought up a good point. She was like, what if we just sell Mini and get a newer RV for this trip? And I'm totally open to that. And just from all the forums from fixing Mini, though, it seemed, and from being at fucked fixed, seeing all the brand new RVs that I was helping fix while we're fucked, I'm like, it just seems like
I just
all
feel
of them
like
break.
it would just restart the process. It's
Right.
and then you figured it out. You finally got Mini Winnie up and running to where it's limited amount of fixing. You still got to fix it, but not as much. And then you go buy something of the same thing that happened a couple years ago. We'd be back to fixing it all the way back up there again.
And I know her so intimately, you know?
you exactly. You can't. That would be a hard divorce. Like there's too much. That'd be an expensive divorce.
Yeah. Yeah.
And painful.
And it's kind of a trade off, too, because cars and trucks and RVs these days have so many electrical pieces in them, like the electronics to feedback. Like with her, you hear a hiccup and you're like,
It's a mechanical. It's a
yeah.
mechanical thing, and especially with the playa dust, it's not going to eat up at all the wires
yeah.
that are running all your electronics. You're like, oh, I just need a new gear. All right, I need to put some new grease in there. Let's get her wheel back up and running.
We will for sure bring a lot more parts this year, though. Like knowing when I needed real parts out there, they're like, there's a shop 3 hours away. I mean, you can go do that.
That would be cool if that was the Burning Man RV. Like you got it up and running. You're like, this is because it's all mechanical. Mm-hmm. It's not a bunch of like other components. You're like, this is the Burning Man RV. This is huge. And then the years you can't go, you rent it out for an extraordinary amount. And you're like, no, this one only can be rented for Burning Man. There's no.
Well, the funny part is with this trip, we will be getting close to. I mean, with this trip, it would essentially break even if nothing fucking broke on it. That would be the price I paid for it, $17,500. I'm a solid 12,000 past that at this point with fixing stuff on it. But that's a good thing about being able to, if we do take it this year, 3 years in a row, it's like we weren't able to find anything we wanted to rent for less than like what, $6-7 grand, right? So
yeah,
solid investment.
We just need Mike to buy an RV and rent her out. Well,
we need to take your brother.
He had a pool behind. We do need to take my brother. That's someone we'll just pay for his ticket.
Seriously. Like, dude, all you got to do is fly to Reno.
You fix all the problems from Reno to back to Reno. Between there and a week out to back to Reno.
I mean, seriously, what's that going to cost us? Like, if we break it up a couple ways, $1,000?
Probably $1,000. Yeah.
Dude, the peace of mind. Just like, listen, man, you ain't got to worry about nothing until you got to worry about something.
Until you get him out there and he goes, huh, that's a new one. Damn it. I don't know. The fact that he was able to know what the problem was from listening to it over the phone after being woken up at 3 a.m. I'm like, I don't know what problem could get around him at that point.
That's one of the most impressive things I've ever seen a human do.
I tried to make my family grasp like how important and crazy that was. And like, they're like, oh yeah, that's pretty crazy. I'm like, I want a bigger reaction from you. How crazy that was.
I mean, we were so fried outside the Hoover Dam. It just staring at a really relatively easy problem, but the adrenaline was so high. It's like, we're done.
No, it wasn't an easy problem because Tyler was right. If we turned that car back off, or if it just turned off while we were going because we stopped at a light, that turned into a way more serious problem because it takes out all your power steering. It takes out all of your power.
Well, we did turn it off. We turned it off and on multiple times.
Not on the way back. We turned it off once, and he goes, you have one more. You got to turn it on one more time because you have battery left to turn it on one more time. There's no belt feeding to your alternator to turn it. So he goes, you got one more chance to turn it on, and he goes, definitely don't turn it off because you'll probably die after this because there's nothing charging it now.
Sounds really intense when you say it that way. You'll die.
It'll just die. You're done. And then the other thing is, he even said there's a chance that when you like slow down, and if you hit a red light, it'll just turn off.
Yeah, we only hit one red light. I mean, we went through it, but
I mean, we were slowly going. That is the most dead I've ever seen Vegas, was going through at 4:30 in the morning. We have to get to the other side. And then if it died, the RV just dies in the middle of the road. There's no getting out of the way. You're just like,
and at that point in the night, we were very inclined just to go to sleep and wait for the problem to come to us. We're just like, look, we're running on 4 hours sleep. We've been up multiple days, stopped 8 times trying to fix this bitch. If it died in the middle of that road, we would have called tow company. Hey, we'll be there in a couple hours. Be like, no problem.
Yeah.
Write a note for the cops on the door. It's like, she's not moving. It will be moved.
You can park behind us. Just wait a minute. We aren't moving. Like, you try to move it if you'd like. You can push it, whatever you like to do. But we're sleeping.
Just call Joe. Joe, we need you to start pushing, buddy.
Yeah, Joe, get back there. Actually, go find some homeless. Let's get this thing. I need you to go. Recruit.
Dude, honestly, there's a solid chance the bikes would have been jacked off the back if it did die before we got to the hotel.
100%. I would have been like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Take that bike.
Also, do you want to take your bike this year? I know we're kind of planning this out on the podcast, but that's fine. We're going to drive Intrigue.
Yeah. Yeah, of course I want to take my bike. I'm the only one with a usable bike still, I think, after multiple years.
I used your bike last year.
And it's probably still fine. Did you break it?
No. I mean, it's still mostly good.
Yeah, still mostly good.
It's just the playa, dude. It eats at all that shit. I'm probably going to take a new bike. I'm going to order one ahead to be picked up.
Here's the thing. I was starting to look at electric bike, not expensive ones, just cheapos.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, if one of us gets an electric bike, all of us have to get the electric bike, because you can't just be having one person with electric and then they go zooming off, because the person with electric bike is just going to be pissed off they can't go.
I mean, you can still do it. They also have retrofitting things. I don't remember what Evan paid for his, but it was like a couple $100. And you can attach it to the bike.
Ooh, that might be cool. The thing with the bike that from the past couple years is I don't know if it could just be washed down, like get all the grittiness out of it and then just re-grease it up. Put a new
I
chain
have
on it
done that. I've
maybe.
already washed it down and relubricated it, but something about that dust, it just like I've brushed out the playa, but
Yeah.
it's just in everything.
Whatever. Just go to Walmart, get a $200
Yeah.
bike.
I don't know. I'll check it out maybe this weekend because I'm gonna have to redo the garage, like reorganize it, putting that stuff away. So I'll ride it and see. Um, it is just amazing how corrosive that playa dust is.
Yeah. Love it.
It's just
Corrode
the
your
enemy of
feet.
robots.
That's why nothing's out there, man. It's just dead.
Yeah, because I'd love to bring some speakers out there or something, but at the same time, I think about it. I'm like, there's camps all around us that we can just go to.
Tyler was talking about that. He was like, "Oh, I'm gonna bring." He goes, "I'll bring my system if he's got speakers, and we'll just DJ out there on the playa." He's gonna ask me
Is he
about
saying his
that.
DJ board if I bring the
Yeah,
speakers?
yeah.
Yeah, there's literally no upside for me there. I have a board and the speakers. So it's like,
He's gonna if he goes to Burning Man, he's gonna want a DJ out there, no matter what.
I, it's like, it's tough because do you like the trade off? Because we could like get some shitty speakers and bring them out there. Um,
I would say probably just get a shitty board. You just find a cheap
I
old
have a
one.
shitty board. Yeah.
You're like, well, this is what this is for. Is just to die out here.
I'd say bury it, but apparently there's sacred spirits out there that look down on that.
Oh, dude, the seers probably are like, please give us some speakers, something. Give us a board, man. Dealing with these old rocks and shit down here.
Dude, how desperately I want everything to go right this year. But god damn, was I really missing you being there just to soak in the chaos of like people just watching the mountain range
God,
and
I
seeing the
wanted to see
rain
it.
come.
And I was dealing with my own chaos of mosquitoes carrying us away this year, seeing the rain. Like we were dealing with our own chaos out there with this group. But I saw that rain, I was like, I know where that's coming from. And I was like, that's going to be an interesting turn of events.
Because that's the thing. It's like when you're the proverbial lightning rod for a group and you're like, hey, I'm going to just make everyone feel cool, grounded. When there's you and I, it's such a different dynamic. Like when shit's off the rails, everyone sees it and it's like, no, this is fucked up. Like we're going to figure it out. But this is Delta 9 fucked up. And when it's not that bad, like it wasn't that bad, but it was like, you play through scenarios and you're like, what if we are trapped here till Wednesday? And people start getting real feral because the porta potties had like within 12 hours maxed out. And they're like,
wow. Yeah.
they're like, don't dig a hole, but figure it out. Porta potties ain't it. You know what I mean?
Get your
And
buckets
so
ready.
you kind of see that trickle down effect. You're like, all right, that's the shitters going out. What about food and water? What's going to happen when people are like, hey, you got anything?
Anything. Yeah.
But all the people around us were super cool. They're like, hey, if you run out of anything, just let us know. Like this guy kept offering me beer. And I was like, you hang on to them beers because I am going to run out and I will be back. But I'm not taking yours if I have some. He's like, I appreciate that. And he held on to a couple for me. He's like, I got you, man. I got you.
It's probably a lot of people overpack too. So you have a little bit, a lot of people still have a little bit that they're getting rid of.
People I felt for were people in the tents.
People I would probably feel for are the camps. Because here's the thing that I think about with the camps, right? Like everyone's taking care of each other, but it's those camps, it's usually the wealthy people that are running it. And so the wealthy people figure out, I'm just going to tank this and y'all fend for you paid to this date. you didn't pay for the extra days of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
You're on your own on
Like
that
additional
one.
provisions.
We didn't bring additional, but we brought for what was needed.
Yeah.
Sir,
What you paid for.
The number one rule out here is take care of yourself.
It's like going to Universal, lightning hits, and they lock the front gates. And they're like, no more roller coasters or concessions. Figure it out. You came for the fun, but now you're in this.
Yeah. Hey, Florida, right?
My buddy Sam was at that we had on here. He was like 100 yards from us, 50 yards from us in his camp.
Cool.
And they had tarps laid down as the floor, and then they had, their cover or whatever, kind of like a, I don't know, like a not mesh, but like a cover above, but not a tarp. What happened is that the mud from the street flowed in between the tents and on the tarps. And because it's on the tarp, the water got trapped because the stuff would dry out really quickly, but not when it was on the tarp. And then it started to cake up. So people's tents were actually in the mud. Like the mud started climbing. I saw those videos
of that. I was like, oh, that's something else right there.
Dude.
Because where are you sleeping? I mean, basically where you're sleeping is you're just pulling out your sleeping bag, letting it dry. You're just sleeping on the playa at that point. If your whole tent's covered. Because those aren't regular tents. Those are staked down with...
Some of them were like the insulated tents where it's kind of thick, like meant for ice.
Yeah.
And
that's
of them...
what you need, because it's like Himalayan level. Because of all the wind and ice, you would need to have that stake down. That's cool they had those.
But you did see some people that were out there in just regular ass Walmart. And I'm like, hey, you're probably the same person talking shit on Facebook that RVs are ruining Burning Man.
About the RV now. Bet there'll be a lot more RVs out there this year. 100%. I bet there'll be more RVs out there this year.
Yeah.
Did the carport that we normally have out there, did you have that up? And did water get into that area? Or were
a little
you kind
bit
of on a higher ground?
Yeah, a little bit, not bad. Because it's the way the playa just levels out. There's not really too much of a elevation shift anywhere topographically. The main issue we faced was just trying to keep it out of the RV. So we had stuff like on the steps, and you take off your sock, you take off your shoe, take off your sock again, wipe your feet. Because some people were putting socks, I think Michael started putting socks around. I don't know. We eventually were just literally the best way to do this is barefoot. So that's what I just started rocking was barefoot, and then would just wipe my feet.
Yeah. It'll be a good year this year.
Yeah, that's not too far away. What, 5 months?
5 months. So we got the Eclipse to test it all out first.
Eclipse will be like a little mini Burning Man.
I think we should use Eclipse as let's test out a few, for example, right? We tried to makeshift a thing over the door in the RV where you go in and out to try to keep the dust out. I don't think we ever came up with any good solution for that. It'd be interesting to test a product out at Eclipse, the ones where the magnets, they just close up.
Ooh,
it'd be cool to get something like that and just test how it's holding up, right? It'll be a good opportunity to test out some things and products. What could be used out there?
Yeah, that's a really good idea, actually. I don't even know.
Go to Eclipse and we tape up all the windows. We're what are you doing? We're just testing it out. Why
Dude,
is there tinfoil over everything?
Have we ever been to a festival at this time of year?
I mean, there's Sunset ish. That's kind of,
but that's
the
in
same
Florida.
Time of year. I went kind of with Purple Hatter's Ball. I did that in Halloween. No, not around this time of the year.
I just don't think we've ever had mild. Cross our fingers, the weather's good, but this time of year, I don't think we've ever been to a festival where it wasn't 90 degrees.
I don't know what. Well, I mean, we've been to Bonnaroo, when it's been 90 degrees out.
No, Bonnaroo is
Bonnaroo.
like 100 degrees. You know, it gets
like
cooking, son.
It's still gonna be hot. Okeechobee, that's hot. That's this time of year.
Well, what I'm saying, Okeechobee wasn't this time of year. Was
Are
it?
you talking about for? Wait a minute. Are you talking?
I'm
about
saying
for
good
eclipse?
weather. Like it should be really good weather. It won't be brutal.
Okeechobee's usually pretty good. It varies. I've been there when it's been scorching the whole time. I've also been there when it's been freezing.
I feel like there was one Bonnaroo we got really lucky, and it was good weather.
We did
Pretty
get
solid
one
weather.
Bonnaroo where it was perfect. I think that was the second time I went with you guys. The first year where we went, where we were way out in BFE,
Yeah,
that was a hot year.
Yeah,
that was an interesting year to say the least.
When you go to festivals like that, I feel like you got to earn your stripes. I don't know that I would appreciate VIP as much as I do genuinely every time we do it if I hadn't had to like really work for it experiences.
Oh, 100% you want it, because I know this because Seth has only ever done VIP until he finally went with me and did GA at Okeechobee. His like and at Okeechobee, it was just him and I. Him and I went to the festival. We did, and he was like, "You want to do VIP?" I was like, "No, you're doing GA. We're gonna do GA. You're gonna earn it." And of course, we're way out, just like we were at Bonnaroo. And he was like, "Man, oh yeah, VIP is like way worth it." I was like, "All right, yeah, you gotta learn, son. Like
the parking situation's awesome, but I think the most important thing's the bathrooms. You get nice access to the stage, and you're like, "Hey, I'm not gonna have to send you a postcard. I'll just be right back." If you're in GA and you're in the pit,
going right here,
you're like, you like grab someone. You're like, "Listen, you don't move. See that totem, that totem, that totem. You stay right here." And then I would go up to the totems, and I'm like, "You going anywhere?" Like, "No, man." And I tell 3 totems because one of them's gonna move.
Yeah, you can't rely on just one.
I learned that lesson. I think my first music festival, I saw the guy coming out, and he was like, "Sorry, man." I was like, "Dude, you just fucked me." He's like, "The girls wanted to go." I'm like, "I get it, you know." And then me and my buddy got separated for a couple hours. I was like, I don't know. I can't read. I don't even know what direction is up. Like, where do I go?
Or yeah, just don't move from here. Stay here. But then the crowd shifts. It moves them. And you're like, "I thought you'd show over here." And they're like, "I have been. I haven't moved at all." Not realizing they have moved with the crowd where it's going.
Yeah. And then you just have random stuff happen. Like, lost my sunglasses at Bonnaroo on the way in. My eyes hurt too bad, so we're coming back out, and I found them on the ground just in the middle of the crowd.
Crazy.
And you're like, what are the chances? I mean, I'm sure you could attach a number to it, but just looking down as we're going through the crowd, I'm like, I think those. And that's the guy was like, "Those are your glasses, man?" He's like, "No, I think they're mine." I was like, "Those are my glasses."
10%, probably. It's probably like good number to put on it. Yeah, different quadrant, 10 quadrants.
Oh shit. I feel like that's good. That's it. That scratches it. All right, guys. If you enjoyed this episode, give us your best 10%, maybe 2%. Like and subscribe. We'll show up on your feed more. Someone wrecked me.
Love you guys.
Peace.